TRAD wives are receiving a lot of hate and it needs to stop. Hey, I'm Maria Paula Bermeo, clinical psychologist, and on this channel we talk about everything related to, of course, psychology. So if you're interested, please keep on watching. Before starting this video, I want to remind you that I give in-person therapy. And if you're out of the city, I got you because I also give online therapy. If you need a consultation, feel free to reach me out on my social media, my email, my phone number. All of them will be listed down below on the description box as well. Hannah Neeleman, Nara Smith, Roro Bueno. What do these women have in common? The three of them post videos of them doing the cooking for their household and are tagged as TRAD wives by internet users. But also they've been highly criticized due to their lifestyles because according to certain groups, they are promoting a patriarchal and sexist way of living. But what is the psychology behind this wave of hate? TRAD wife is a new term to reference the aesthetic of the traditional wives from the 1950s who embrace conservative values which may not sound appealing for some. First, I want to give you the context of all of these women being called TRAD wives and receiving a ton of criticism. You may or may not know them, but anyway, I will try to make a brief breakdown. Nara Smith is a 22-year-old former model who decided to leave that world after marrying her colleague Lucky Blue, who is still working in that industry. She posts these well-produced cooking videos in which she usually starts with the phrase, "My kid's husband wanted this for this meal," and makes these full-blown, beautiful, delicious-looking recipes. She is believed to live in a sexist household due to her decision to abandon her modeling career and being a full-time stay-at-home wife and mother at only 18 years old. And she is blamed for romanticizing an anti-feminist lifestyle. Roro Bueno, a 22-year-old Spanish influencer, went viral for her videos in which she is cooking for her boyfriend Pablo. Just like Nara, in her content, she's soft-spoken, wears beautiful and feminine outfits, and is a stay-at-home girlfriend. Some people, especially men, have fallen in love with her content, but it hasn't stopped others from hating on her due to her promotion of submission to men. And this despite, unfortunately, has surpassed the screens. Just in an interview that took place months ago, when she started to get famous, she confessed, "They yell at me, a slave, we don't want you here." And this is just the mildest insult she gets, just to point out how the situation has gotten out of control. And maybe the most controversial recently, Hannah Neeleman, better known for her TikTok username, BALLERINA farm. She posts videos in which she's cooking, taking care of her farm, raising her kids along with her husband, and she recently had an interview with Megan Agnew, a well-known feminist reporter for the UK Times, in which Neeleman's words were twisted, but people believed them. So in the written article, Hannah and her husband Daniel talked about her life. Hannah got into Juilliard, she was a ballerina, she met Daniel, didn't want to marry at first, but after a few months and dates, they actually did. She left her ballet career after having her first 2 children as she realized her life changed significantly. She and her spouse talked about the difficulties of raising 8 children, doing tasks at the farm and everything, adding that she has gotten sick of exhaustion, situation in which she couldn't even get out of bed for a week. She didn't specify if this happened once or twice, 8, 10 times, anything. Agnew tried to make Hannah look as the victim. According to her, Daniel was the one who obligated her to leave ballet, that she takes care of every single house chore without any help, that her husband stalked and forced her into marriage, and even tried to paint this narrative that she was so unhappy with her 8 implicitly annoying children who were screaming during the whole interview. Social media users went wild over this distorted story, even leaving comments to Hannah wishing he gets free from her sad reality, throwing shade at her husband and some even to her kids. This doesn't end there though. Later, the whole interview was released. I'll leave the Spotify link down below if you want to listen to it. And thanks to that audio, it has become clear that both Hannah and Daniel are more than happy with their life, and both are the heads heads of their household. This forced Megan, the reporter, to write a second article trying to reframe everything she had written and published, in which at the very end of a second article that probably most people won't even read, she finished with this. Anything great requires sacrifice, Neeleman said as we stood on the side of the mountain, surrounded by babies and chickens. You know that, she said gently. You know what it took to get to where you are at. And that, I think, is the very simple and very complicated truth of it. Thankfully, Hannah herself has also addressed the situation, first with a video.
A couple of weeks ago, we had a reporter come into our home to learn more about our family and business. We thought the interview went really well, very similar to the dozens of interviews we had done in recent memory. We were taken back, however, when we saw the printed article, which shocked us and shocked the world by being an attack on our family and my marriage, portraying me as oppressed, with my husband being the culprit. This couldn't be further from the truth. Nothing we said in the interview implied this conclusion, which leads me to believe the angle taken was predetermined. For Daniel and I, our priority in life is God and family. Everything else comes second. The greatest day of my life was when Daniel and I were married 13 years ago. Together we have built a business from scratch. We've brought 8 children into this world and have prioritized our marriage all along the way. We are co-parents, co-CEOs, co-diaper changers, kitchen cleaners, and decision makers. We are one, and I love him more today than I did 13 years ago. We have many dreams still to accomplish. We aren't done having babies. We are excited for our new farm store to open, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for the rest of it. But for now, I'm doing what I love most, being a mother, wife, a businesswoman, a farmer, a lover.
And then she also made a post on Instagram. The link in her bio directs you to a self-written article titled Our Story. In it, she said both her and Daniel come from big families. Families who started their own businesses together. This is what they have been raised to. She mentioned Daniel encouraged her to continue her play career. He's been so supportive that he abandoned his athletic career as a lacrosse player at BYU to move to New York to support her, but it was her who decided to give up that path after having her 2 children and actually graduating from Juilliard. She also pointed out that her and Daniel fell in love with farming while living in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and decided to take that life to their home in Utah, and that is why she has the life she has. Okay. End of the story time. My point is, these women agreed with their partners to have that lifestyle. It was their own decision. Then why are some individuals tagging them as pro-patriarchy? Why are they hating on these women so much through a psychological point of view? They feel bad. These traditional wives make these individuals feel threatened, intimidated, insecure about themselves. Because most of the time, men say they prefer this type of women. Or they are sad because they are going through difficult times unlike these influencers. So what do? They try to cope in some way. Sometimes not the most functional. Let's analyze this TikTok video by the user Roddy Ray about Ballerina Farm, just as an example and to prove my point.
If you haven't read the Times article yet on Ballerina Farms, you need to stop this video and read it right now. Incredibly well written. It's written by Megan Agnew. I hate watch accounts like Ballerina Farm. I don't like the way they make me feel. After watching those videos, I feel like I'm not doing enough as a mother, a wife, that I have the wrong priority. Dislike her while I'm watching them, but I also want to be her at the same time. She's like put last every day. She puts herself last. Her family puts her last. Who she was as a person before she was a wife and mother, that part of her is gone. It's really sad. And I don't know how I feel about the fact that she still perpetuates this online and monetizes it. This is what a good wife and mother should be doing. But at the same time, she's so ill from being overworked and exhaustion that she can't get out of bed for a week. I'm just like, I don't even know how I feel about that account now. I'm questioning everything. So I'm curious what your thoughts are.
Did you notice why traditional women are so hated? Defense mechanisms are applied. There is a noticeable displacement used by the internet users shading TRAD wives. They redirect the insecurities they might be having to their comments online, because diminishing these females makes the person behind the screen feel superior for a while. Others are maybe projecting themselves on these influencers, especially people that have or are experiencing a real toxic and problematic relationship in which they are or were mistreated. When they see women that are happy and in a healthy relationship, it is most likely that they feel envious and try to portray these females as if they were going through the same things they are going through. Then they go back to their normal life and are most likely still frustrated. And this hard judgment from people may come along with denial. In this case, denial that someone can actually live a beautiful and happy life with different ideologies, beliefs, and values. Because unfortunately, even when nowadays society wants diversity to be respected, it seems that it's difficult to do so when it comes to more conservative people living their life. This usually happens because the online critics are suffering from low self-esteem, a lack of self-appreciation that can be linked to unhealed wounds from past experiences, feeling unaccomplished and as if they haven't succeeded in life, hence why they try to sort of take others down to try to feel better. Nonetheless, it is important to notice if you watching this video may be doing this and try to get to the root cause so you can actually heal from all those leavings that left a negative mark in your life. This is not easy to do on your own, and that is when looking for psychological support is key. So we can unpack all the unnecessary luggage you've been carrying and lift a huge weight from your shoulders so you can feel and be better. And on the other hand, it is so important to remember that we don't know these women. We don't live with them, so at the end of the day, we are not the best judges to dictate if their life is perfect or chaotic. We just see their online persona, and that is fine. You do you, day to day, live your life and also let them live. Being focused on them is not only harming them with so many hateful comments, but most importantly, it is also damaging you and your own mental sanity. Is there something you learned from this video or would like to add to the conversation? Leave it a comment down below. Also, don't forget to give a like and share this video with someone that may need it. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you never miss from more interesting psychology content. Thanks for watching.